Let me try to find the most G-rated way to say this. But sometimes pastors forget that they have wives.
Ooh.
Check it out.
What's up, everyone? This is Lisa Fields, the founder and president of the Jude 3 Project, and I'm excited about our new series, Why I Don't Go. Now, the reason this series is important is because I think it's important to listen to people who have left the church and understand why they don't go, not in a judgmental way, but as you heard me say many times, the greatest apologetic tool is listening. And I want to cultivate a ministry where we have a discipline of listening to people without judgment. And that's what I hope these next sessions and this series will be about. I have 4 amazing guests with me today. I'll let them go around and introduce themselves, starting with you.
My name is Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
My name is Shay.
Thank you for being here, Shay.
Vince.
Thank you for being here, Vince.
And I'm Crystal.
Thank you for being with us, Crystal. I'm so excited to have this discussion. I know many of you have probably tried to have this discussion with your family and parents, and it may not go that well. So we hope that it won't be a challenging experience, but an enjoyable experience where I'm listening to you all. You know, I know that you mentioned early on there were some inconsistencies in those who call themselves Christians and their behavior. What were some specific instances, and how did that affect your view of church and Christianity?
Specifically, where I was attending church, the pastor forgot that the church belonged to God and not him. And he went about acting as if he were God. He wanted that type of respect, that level of respect, as if he could do no wrong and he could say anything to anybody or do anything. So, yeah.
Let me try to find the most G-rated way to say this. But sometimes pastors forget that they have wives.
Ooh.
I've seen that.
I didn't know that was coming right.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna just leave it.
That was an okay request. She went into prayer.
If you want to come around again, I'll give you another one.
That was. I like the way you put that. That was like so subtle, but it hit me like real. Wow. Okay.
No, you can go ahead.
Well, I guess mine would be, and it's always stuck with me, so it's the same one that I'll tell usually. When I was on staff, me and a pastor, and I was a director of a certain ministry, we were walking up to the front of the church, and the lead pastor of that particular church basically was with a person, and they were praying, praying over one another, and she was asking him a lot of questions, and instead of kind of saying, let's schedule time and let's talk, and I don't really have a lot of time today, but I really want to, instead of just being real, he called both of us over to pray over her. Well, then we went into the office, and he was still out there after we were done praying, and we left, me and the pastor that I was walking into the office with. That pastor stayed out there with the woman, and then when he came back in, he basically told us, I was trying to get you to get me away from her, so we can close that in prayer. Prayer is the closing to something. We gotta, and that rubbed me the wrong way, essentially, because I'm like, when did this become less, human? Just tell her you don't have the time to talk right now, in a nice way, and say, but give her a solution and say, hey, let's schedule. Now, that's just one person, but being as that is a reflection, that's one of the wrong ways, and then there was other stuff, but that's a specific.
While I'm sitting here and listening to you guys, I think my main thing is that, God is love. And I think that the church forgets to love its people. And love looks like you've got these mega churches. I mean, like bukus of money. But in their areas like we talked about before, you've got so much homelessness. You've got people in your congregation that are going home and not knowing what they're going to eat, if they're going to eat. You've got kids that are wearing the same clothes every single day because their mom or their dad lost their job. Let's take these funds that you're using to build your church, the building of it, and start putting money aside as like a fund for families that are going to need this help. Let's not just do, one Saturday a month of feeding the homeless, but let's have a rotation like every day, because people are hungry every day, not just once a week or once a month. And it's like, I just think that we forget to take care. We're a community, whether you're my brother, my sister, my friend, or just a stranger, we are all still connected. We're the human race, no matter what color you are. And I just feel like we forget that. But I think it's more of a reflection of what I have, my status, versus let me get down here with you, let me pray with you. And if I don't have the time right now, but let's set something up. Or, I stepped out on my wife, I'm not going to still try to lead this church. I'm going to step down and get myself together, because clearly there was something in me that needs work, and I'm not well enough to stand in front of you and lead you guys if I'm over here doing X, Y, and Z. And I can't remember the one that you said. I'm sorry.
Oh, the pastor, he is God.
Right. Like, know your role. Like
complex issue,
right? Like it's that complex, So I think all of it is like a heart issue, and we all need to constantly examine ourselves. And the church, I think, fails to examine themselves.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go back to what I said and you made the question, you were like asking, about being able to ask questions in church. Did you feel comfortable doing that? A lot of ministers and a lot of people in the church, they don't like to be questioned. They feel like when they can't answer, they get cornered. They don't like it. But they forget that the Bible literally said, God said, make your request known to me. A request is a question. You can question God. If I can question God and make my dissatisfaction known to him, why can't I do that to you? And you are a mere man.
Right.
Pride.
Ooh. Yep. That is exactly what that is. Our brother passed away. You should have seen me up in the house. I was like, yo, God, like, what? This don't make sense. Like, what's going on? Like, I mean, yelling. Like, because at the end of the day, I felt like it's not taught enough, and it's talk about the love thing, but that's daddy. Like, that's my father. Like, I mean, I need to talk to him like I would want to talk to my father, even though I did, the earthly father wasn't available, but that gave me, that's how I felt like, yo, I'm gonna be real with God, who knows me, who loves me like a father loves a son. And I need to have a conversation, because this don't make no sense. You just took my brother, the only male person that I had in my entire existence in my life. Like, but I had to realize that he didn't take him. That it happened because of the world and the sickness. And I had to learn that through reading the word and the logic behind it and loving, the good qualities of what my brother left behind inside of me too. So, and you're right.
Something else that kind of rubbed me.
I need to take a swig of water.
So, like, you know how the guest pastor comes? Y'all laughing. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
The guest pastor comes and they start saying, we need this amount of money. And they almost demand it. Sometimes hold the doors. Cause I've heard people say, like, some people that they'll stand in front of the door, the ushers stand in front of the door until they get a certain amount of money. And it's like, I guess they use a guest pastor because the regular pastor doesn't have the, let's just say, fortitude to make those same sort of demands. So they bringing their guest pastor to do it. And everybody feels so much pressure to bring money, but we were talking about the communities around the churches and how they're a lot of the times destitute. So who are you asking for money from? You're asking for money from the people that need it. And they talk so much about how the congregation should give to the church. Never talk about how the church gives to the congregation. I've never seen that in any church I've ever attended.
Everybody get $100. I want an Oprah. You know what I mean? This needs to be an Oprah moment. You get 100, you get 100, you get 100, you get 100.
It should happen at least once in a
Jubilee.
year or something.
That's what I'm saying. Just Jubilee. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's true.
So what I'm hearing you saying that you probably would want from the church is transparency about financials, accountability, freedom to speak, freedom to question, and authentic Christianity demonstrated in character.
Yeah, true service, because God was a servant.
A two-way street.
Yeah, because
Instead of a one-way
especially if
street,
you're gonna read scriptures to me about how I'm gonna be cursed if I don't give you this money, I need to know what you're doing with that. I don't need to
I
see
went
you
to
buy
one
a
church
jet.
that they have it in their program. They actually have their financials in their program.
Okay, that's good.
One church I've only seen like that.
So I hope y'all have enjoyed this conversation as much as I have. And those who were watching and said, Lisa, why didn't you respond to this question? Because we need to become listeners. We have to learn how to listen before we speak. If we want to engage culture and also engage those who have left the church, because it seems like y'all are open to going back to church under the right conditions, under healthier conditions. So you're not anti-church, you're anti-unhealthy church.
Yeah, anti-toxic.
Is that what I'm hearing you saying?
Yes.
And so if we listen, we could correct our behaviors. And I believe that more people will be drawn to God and not just church buildings. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. This has been Why Don't I Go? And thank you to our amazing guests. You guys have been awesome, and I've enjoyed listening and learning from you all.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
God bless you.